Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Twist Gaming. We are here streaming live from Origins 2019, and my next guest with me is got a pretty cool name, Breeze. And Breeze, you're here to show me Aegis.
Yeah, Aegis stuff. We got a robot game, and it's been out for the better part of this year, and it's very neat. It hit shelves earlier in like January-ish. On board game stores selectively around the country. Talk to your distributors. And but for the first time, we have some new content to show off.
Okay.
First off.
Before I dive into new content, we talked a little bit about how this is definitely not, admittedly, not my arena. So talk to me, and maybe the viewers at home who are in the same boat as me, what is Aegis?
So Aegis is basically a faster, more affordable, more accessible version of like a BattleTech or a War Machine or your war games. It's just better. And depending on what you're looking for, if you're looking for a 4-hour game that costs $3,000, this is not
the
it.
better?
This is not. This does not meet those criterion. If you're looking for minis, we also don't have that. But yeah, the game is. It's a tactics game. You move around a hex board. You have a team of 5 robots that you play with.
Okay.
And there are 5 different kinds of robots. You always only start with 5 cards, and there's 5 different kinds of robots. So you have. I don't know if you want to use the thingy.
It's a technical term.
Yeah, exactly. Here you go. So
which one am I putting up?
It's going to go like AEGIS.
Start here?
Yeah.
Oh, I have to spell?
Yeah,
Gee,
yeah.
you know.
So we got 5 different kinds of robot in the game. We got assault, evasive,
Get in there.
invisible guard, intel,
Also purple.
and support.
Oh, it didn't green screen.
So yeah, assault, evasive guard, intel, support, spells, Aegis. All the robots in the game are color coded. So you make a team of 5. And you can use any 5 on your team. You have a whole team of red guys. We just like to punch people and stuff. It's very free form.
Okay.
There are 100 unique robots that come in the box.
Really?
So there's a lot of content that we give you in one little drawstring bag sized box. We wanted the game to be portable and cool, and yeah, it's neat. The main cool things about the game are you have your team of 5. And your 5 robots, they kind of share action points with each other.
Okay.
So every turn, you're going to add up these green dots, these invisible dots on the top right of the card, which actually, I guess, look easy to call attention to.
Since I'll be
And so, yeah, if you look at like these invisible holes on the top right of the card, you get that many action points each turn. And you keep track of a little slidey thing. And so basically, this team makes like 8, 9. 12, 17. And so every turn you're going to get 17 points with you're using these 5 robots, and then you can use those points to move and attack. And then at the start of your next turn, you'll get 17 again to do stuff with.
Do you lose them, or is it 17 and then you lose everything, or is it 17
It's
and you can
17,
bank?
and then every space you move costs a point, and every dice you roll costs a point.
But do you bank unused points
No,
for
you
the
do
next?
not bank unused points. You always just go up to whatever your guys add up to.
Okay.
So yeah, if you use like a whole team of just yellow guys, you'll probably have like 25 energy. If you use a whole team of like green guys, you'll have like 8.
Because,
so,
and
yeah.
that you were talking, so this distribution between the energy points is similar amongst those particular teams.
Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of different robots, and it's like, so a lot of a lot of like blue guys don't give a lot of energy, a lot of green guys don't give a lot of energy, but a lot of yellow and red guys do.
Gotcha.
So it's a lot of the game is thinking about cool team makeups and synergies and interesting things like that. And then the other cool thing about the game is that when you move your robots around the board and you have, say, an A robot and an S robot next to each other on the board, you can combine them together. So put these over there. So A robot, S robot, and then in the middle of combat you can make this guy and merge them together to make an AS robot who now assaults and he supports. And you're using this guy for the rest of the game now.
That's cool.
So yeah, you start with 5 cards, and the game boils down, and your 2-player game is like 20-30 minutes. And it's made to be super streamlined war game.
That's really neat.
And then same thing, you keep going further, you get a 3-letter guy.
So would it be like if I had the AS and one of the Is?
Yep.
I could do it that way as well?
Yep, so you got those 2, and you merge them together, and you get a 3-letter robot, and he'll have like 3 attacks now. He's more like versatile and more independent, more powerful. And same thing if you put, say, like 4 guys together, and
now it's Voltron.
And then, now you can put all 5 guys. And this is the first little thing I'll talk about, is that this is our new convention promo that will be giving out at every event we go to for like the next year. Is it's an additional 5-letter robot that you can use if you already have the game, or if you come to a convention and you talk to us, we'll give you one, and it has all of our information on how to buy it on the back. So it's neat. It has really cool art by an artist named I love these holes. It has really cool art by artist James R. Miller. You can find him on every piece of social media. And if you would like to see our store, it's actually robotstrategygame.com, and I'll probably say that at the end too. But
Very cool.
so yeah, Voltron game. Got a team of 5 robots. You can merge them together in middle combat. You can do all sorts of cool tactical things because we give you a lot of different robots in the box. It goes 2 to 6 players.
Okay.
So a 2-player game is, like 20, 30 minutes, like I said. But then you can play 4-player or up to like 6 players if you get like a giant 6-player neoprene mat, which we also sell.
Okay.
And so it's about as... It's cool. The Aegis is cool because it's about as simple a Saturday morning cartoon dice checking game as you want it to be, or a super serious tactical war game as you want it to be. We do online tournaments on Tabletop Simulator, and people get super into it.
Really?
Yeah. So the game is really well balanced and really competitive because we worked on it for a really long time. And then, but it's also if you just want to move guys around the board and shoot lasers at each other and not really care about the finer caveats. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't like complicated things.
Just want to shoot.
Yeah, I
stuff?
just want to shoot. I just want a Saturday morning robot game. But then, yeah, we also made it so it's like it's like competitive. It's like a card game length war game. It's like the Magic the Gathering or like the Pokemon or like the Yu-Gi-Oh of war games.
That's a pretty good. That's a pretty solid pitch.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So you were talking about having events, running the tournaments, talking about Tabletop Simulator. Do you have things going on at Origins for events like that?
We forgot to submit them.
But at Gen Con.
But at Gen Con, we have a lot of events. If you go to the Gen Con event finder, you can type in AEGIS, AEGIS, and you will find many, many, many events. And that will eventually segue me into the thing I'll talk about probably after this thing. Because all of our events at Gen Con are for new expansion content.
So speaking of that.
Yeah, exactly. You want to talk about this or you want to talk about that?
You pick.
All right. All right, we'll talk about the expansion content first since we're going into it.
Okay.
So Aegis has 100 robots and all sorts of other stuff in the box. It's all standalone, and it's cool. You don't have to buy any really extra expansions. There's like a little pack of 10 cards that you can get to add a little bit more stuff to the game. But for the most part, everything is in this.
In the box.
So right now we are developing more, because 100 isn't enough.
Obviously.
So every expansion for Aegis that we make is going to be a box like this that is self-contained.
Okay.
And so you don't have to own this box to buy theoretically the next box that we make. So that's cool. But that's currently what we are testing out.
Okay.
Is we have at our booth at Origins, we are testing that out, some new robots and some new pre-built teams and stuff like that.
Okay.
And at Gen Con, we will be testing it out very, very aggressively because we have like 1 million events. And they're all just Aegis 2. There's no like Aegis events. If you want to play normal Aegis, we just have, a booth. Yeah, all the events are totally, you can subject yourselves to or experience exclusively.
Subject to experience.
You can experience the new Aegis content, which actually it's not gonna, I'm very self-deprecating, but it's usually come out pretty good, and so I'm pretty happy with how the new stuff is coming out. Compared to the first box, we are peeling off words and mechanics from cards, but adding more interesting mechanics. So we're trying to peel off. We're streamlining it so that there's it's easier to get into and more tactical play. So that's kind of like the name of the game of the next set, and we're going to be putting in some more interesting stuff too, which I'll talk about.
So is the expansion more? I mean, you're talking about. You have all of these individual robots. You have all of the individual powers going on with it, and then having to put them together to streamline the game. Are we talking with expansion with just additional robots in that same vein? Are we expanding any of the theme on there?
Oh,
How
yeah.
does that?
So he just has like a little persistent world that it takes place in, and like this game takes place across like year 1 of like a certain story arc, and then when you open the box, there's a bunch of pre-built teams based around certain characters.
Okay.
So you open the game up, and you can play it really easily out of the gate because we give you a whole bunch of pre-built things that focus on really basic strategies, like here's the moving good guy and here's the attacking good guy. So we're going to continue kind of that vein in the next box, where we're going to have a certain number of pre-built teams that are based around certain strategies, and there'll be some new strategies, some refreshed strategies. some continuations of like mechanical things in the first box that got a little underrepresented, some very new things.
Is there, out of all of the robots that you have, is there one that you were really proud of? Either like when you're talking about expansion and things that you were talking about underrepresentation, is there something that you really loved and want to show off again, or you want something that the audience is brought attention to?
Uh, More combining stuff.
Okay.
The game's about combining, so we actually put in the next set. The next set has like a handful of mechanics that endorse combining robots together and combining in new and weird and interesting ways.
Okay.
So just more ways to get out your big Voltron guy. We want to focus on. So that's cool. And then just like more squid robots. That's
What?
important. Yeah, exactly. We got some robots that look like squids.
That's pretty wonderful.
And so there's a lot more of those in the next set. I
Okay.
don't, that it just kind of ended up that way.
Don't know how.
There are a lot of squid robots in this box, but there aren't any bigger Voltron squid robots. We made a mistake. We gave you like 3 or 4 squid robots in this box, but nothing to pay that off. So there will be bigger squid robots in the next set. I can confirm that.
That's good.
Our art direction's really cool. I'm also the lead artist on the game, so I lot of interesting looking robots. We got some cool looking guys that look like Gundam. We got some guys that look like squids. You can pretty much hit everything, and with our art direction, it's neat.
Speaking of art direction.
Oh yeah. So
Segue.
So the last thing that we got going on here
Let me,
is the last thing we got going on here is so this is brand new. This is kind of the first kind of sort of expansion-y thing that we've put out for AEGIS since it came out a few months ago. This is the AEGIS Companion Book, the Season 1 Archives, which basically shoehorned me into having the next thing be called Season 2.
You're kind of committed.
What could we be doing next? What this is a 50 some odd page book that will go with your Aegis core box, and it's a book that fits inside of the box, making your game even denser. And what we're going on here, there's 2 things happening in this book. The first thing is that the first half of the book is a sort of scenario book, and I'll get that middle on frame over here. And then so this game, this book / game has 20 scenarios that kind of tell a linear story, sort of about the whole first like story arc and the backstories of all the characters in the game. And each scenario though is kind of a self-contained like game mode that has a board layout that you can set up like this, and then new rules and new victory conditions and the guys that you use. So let's say this one right here called Horizon Infiltration is about Gamund, the general of a border of the Great States. The lore in the game is there's a guy with a G name, and he's from the G country. He drives a G robot. It's very he's trying to guard his border from AEGIS, the purple commander, and so this is basically not all of them, but a lot of the scenarios are kind of like introduce a cool like asymmetric thing, where player A is trying to prevent player B from getting to this point on the map specifically.
Okay.
And then like every scenario is very different. So you'll have 2, 3, 4, and 6 player scenarios. In here. You don't have to play them in order or anything, but like if you say like, oh, I have my box of Aegis and I have 3 friends, well, if you go to the table of contents, it's actually organized by player count.
That's cool.
So it's like, yeah, you just open up to like a 3-player scenario. It gives you a whole ton of stuff to do with all the many Lego pieces we give you in this box. It's essentially an activity book.
I'm on board for that.
It's super cool. Yeah, there's some really creative ones in here. There's like stop your opponent from destroying the town, and like there's there's like a 2v1 mode, there's a 2v1 map, and then there's one where you just have like 7 red robots versus 7 green robots.
But we were talking earlier, and these kinds of games can be incredibly intimidating for somebody. I mean, people, it's a very passionate hobby, and some of these games get huge. So I absolutely love the concept of this, because if somebody's interested but intimidated, it's a nice way to kind of...
Oh, yeah. You just open this up and you're like, okay, use these robots to do these things. And yeah, and it's just like the normal game, too. Like I said earlier, when you open the box up, we give you all. I say we give you 100 robots, but they are all separated out when you open the box into pre-built decks and teams. So you open deck 1, you have 4 pre-built teams. You just go like doop 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 doop, and you can play.
With the sound effects, or it
yeah.
doesn't count.
That's really what I want to do. When we started out, my friend wanted to make a more like Warhammer-y style, like heavy game, and I looked at Warhammer and like, I don't know how to play this. I don't know how anyone knows how to play this. So I was actually very into video games. I played like a lot of Fire Emblem and Advance Wars and like Game Boy tactics games, or XCOM as the Zoomers play these days. And so we made a game more like that. More basic dice rolls, more basic numbers, easy explanation, relative to other things in the genre. So I wanted people who just wanted to play a game like War Machine or like Warhammer or like BattleTech to have a game that they could actually play. This kind of continues the pattern of that, of just like, because once you know how to read these cards for these robots, that's like the whole game.
So it makes it really simple to...
Yeah, there's no like codexes or like textbooks you have to buy or anything like that. It's like you just like know the context of the cards and or the syntax of the cards, and then it's all about, oh, these 2 robots do cool things together, or just like yeah. And then there's like a whole bunch of different game modes. Like there's like a draft mode and other like a territory control mode, and those are all kind of represented in here a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's neat. We kind of put the kitchen sink in the box. So this kind of like actually contextualizes a lot of it. Like do this game mode and these robots that you would probably might not actually touch ever. So this kind of like, yeah, it gives you things to do.
Bit of a guide of what's in the box, essentially.
Yeah. And then the other half of the book is
cool.
this game took like 6 years to make, which is, here's the production timeline.
Look at that.
And
oh.
Whoa. And here's the production timeline, and the rest of the book is all about it's kind of like an art and production book of all this concept art and lore and how the characters interact and how we design the characters and how we design certain things about the gameplay and stuff. And it's like, here's everything about assault robots on one page, or like that. And so it's like half the book is scenarios for gameplay, and the other half of the book is how do I make my own game? Because that's the thing too. We spent a long time on this, and it was a big production, and so I want people to appreciate
all the effort that went into it and the details.
Yeah, the living nightmare.
Well, or that, AKA.
I'm very happy with how the game turned out. I think it was all very worth it.
But it was really cool. You were saying before that this has got a lot of the concept art, and some of it may or may not have made it into the final game.
Yeah, so you get to see it's like unseen stuff, or like you get to see some weird process of early like spun wheels and things like that. And there's also some art of things that will obviously probably like show up later in the future, like more squid robots, specifically.
Squid robots.
And like there's cool things like here's like the card backgrounds, and we had there's like 70 people who worked on this game total.
Wow.
Like our team is like like 4 or 5 people, but there's like 70 people in the credits of the game, and we had 6 to 7 different artists. I was the overall art director. I drew like 80 of the 100 robots.
Wow.
And then like the characters and the backgrounds and some of the robots and some like the box art and all by other different people, but we got it all to blend together really well. And that's kind of like, this is kind of cool example of a lot of that.
It's nice when you have so many different artists with their hands on a game to have that streamlined kind of look to the game.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes you see games that have multiple artists, and you can... Each artist has their own style, right?
Yeah, it creates like a weird like cognitive dissonance. So it's like, yeah, like finding artists for this was an interesting process, because we couldn't just hire an artist who's like good at art. We needed to find an artist who is good at art, knows how to do our cell shaded like cartoon style, and we had to find someone who knew the context of what they were making. So we couldn't just hire any artist. We had to hire artists specifically who watched the same giant robot anime that we watched, because like everyone knows when you just hire some random like dude to draw something he doesn't know about. It's like you hire the guy who draws deer to draw robots, and you're like, this is a very genre specific game. So anyone who came in looking for like their combining robot game, they're gonna know authenticity. And so you'll have like a lot of subtle visual and textual nods to like famous and less famous like giant robot shows that we all kind of grew up with.
That's kind of cool.
It's a big love letter to that sort of stuff.
That's really special.
And that is what we're going on. So yeah, we only made like 100 of these books, and we have like 30 something left.
Wow.
So that's doing good. We might have to make more.
So if somebody's at the convention now, they can head down to the booth and
Yeah.
pick one up.
Yeah, they should, because we have like 4.
They should do that. They should do that now.
So yeah, we'll have those for as long as they last, and we also have like a big bundle deal. So like in terms of the entire game is this, and but we have a 6-player mat, a little 10-card expansion, and we can get extra dice because the dice are cool and they look like Jolly Ranchers, and then we have this book, and you can get literally everything in one big lump.
That's
And
very cool.
So that's we have SKUs. It's really weird when you make a game and you don't realize that now you have like a line
Of stuff.
Because I'm still roughly new at this, even though I've been doing this for 6 years. It's like, we just published our game a few months ago. I'm like, oh wow,
Look at all
we have
this
a
stuff.
product line, I think.
That's a cool realization though. Like to that a sense of accomplishment.
Yes.
Well, this is really cool, Breeze. For the audience at home who wants to learn more about AEGIS and what you guys are doing over at Zephyr Workshop, where should they go?
They should go to our online store at robotstrategygame.com. And you can find a lot of good videos on YouTube. If you just type in Aegis Robots, Roll for Crit did 2 really good overviews of the game. They have how to play Aegis in 7 minutes, and then they also did like a more in-depth like walkthrough and review of the game. They did a really good one. Tom Vassell also did one, but the Roll for Crit one's really good. We're also Dice Tower approved. Tom Vassell did like it.
So that's important.
Yeah, it's very important for, I'm sure, certain people who really care about Dice Tower.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you, Tom Vassell, for that. As Tom Vassell said, if by now you know whether you want this game or not, or whether you like this game or not.
Fair enough.
I'm very happy to advertise that Aegis is exactly as advertised.
That's great. I mean, that's good.
There's really no surprises here. It's a cartoon robot game. We give you a million things in the box. And the box is small, and you can go on YouTube and find like some reviews and playthroughs, or we have a lot of good text reviews. Like Geek Data did a really good one. Cardboard Clash just did one today that called us a diamond in a crowded industry or something
that's
like
cool.
that. Yeah, because he's like, his review was really good. He was like, when I first saw this, I passed up the ability to play a demo, and now he plays it like multiple times per like week.
That's so great.
We actually do we do like online leagues and tournaments, like I mentioned before, and he's like part of that. So yeah, he wrote us a really nice write-up over at Cardboard Clash. Very proud of Aegis. Come look at it. Come buy it before it's sold out, because it's only been 6 months and we're almost out of our print run.
Breeze, I know that your booth is super busy.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for taking the time to
Thank
come and
you
hang
very
out with
much.
me and show me the game and tell me about all the things that you guys have coming down the pipeline. I appreciate it.
All right, thank
And
you.
For those of you at home, stick around. We'll have more great live Origins coverage coming to you shortly.